the sequel podcast.
I'm Cory Easley.
Start number 2. I'm Matt Bonta.
Due to technical difficulties.
Due to technical difficulties and cell phone interruption. Cory, what's going on?
Same shit, different day.
Same shit, different day. Still same job.
Same job.
No prospects. You didn't get a call back.
I have 2 major prospects actually.
Did you get a call back from the one? From where I work?
I haven't heard from them yet.
You probably never will.
You never know.
Like when I said good luck to you, it wasn't like, oh, good luck, Cory. It was like,
good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck on good luck with that. But you said thanks, and I was like, I'll let it go.
Just let it be positive. I don't know. At this point in my job searching career, I have to be positive every time I put something in. Like I have to just believe that something good's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I won't put in for anything.
Story of my life.
But I've got one in with the county, which I'm excited about.
County clerk's office. Are you gonna be a tax man?
Justice Department.
Justice Department.
Yeah. Public defender.
Justice of the peace.
No, it's an IT position with the court system. Yeah. It's good for me.
People don't like the man these days.
Good money though. Got to take money from the man.
Taking money out of my pocket to put into your pocket.
Such is the way of the world.
So do government officials, do they pay taxes?
Absolutely.
So like when they get their paycheck,
it's a paradox.
Money's taken out
to put back in their check, yes. It's a paradox. Same thing with the military, the police, firefighters.
Well, that's like me buying something from you for $20 and then selling it back to you.
No, that's more like you buy something from me, so I get the money.
Right, so I hand you $20.
But I'm going to use that money
to buy
the
same thing back from me for 10 or 30.
Kind of.
Like when I buy a game from GameStop for $60.
Right.
And then I trade it back into them
for
$5.
For $5, yeah.
For $5. And then I realize I want that game again later down the road, and I buy it again for like $40.
With, potentially that $5 that you got back the first time. It's stupid. You want to know what else is stupid?
Let's hear it. What else is stupid, Cory?
Sorry, Mike has been watching Peewee Herman.
Things that are stupid with Cory Easley.
Right? So... we all know that my company does like final disposition, recycling, destruction of.
So what, like the new Peewee Herman stuff?
No, like the old Peewee Herman from when we were kids.
Peewee's Playhouse.
Yeah,
like the old. Because there's new stuff on Netflix, isn't there?
There's a couple of movies I think that are newer, and he's watched those.
I think he had like a 5-episode run or something. Anyways, Your company...
So we know my company does final disposition for electronic assets, data security, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine that we get computers and servers and IP phones and cell phones and hard drives and paper and printers and bullshit, right?
Like paper?
Yeah, paper. I mean, we don't...
Like a ream of paper?
We don't deal in paper exclusively, but some of the stuff we get is paper, and we deal with it. We got, not just this week,
Herman's computer?
We got 15 pallets of various, shall we say, branded merchandise.
So like 8-foot-high pallets?
Well, no, they're more like 4.5 or 6 feet.
Okay.
But there were boxes, probably like a lot like what you see, which is merchandise pallets that are basically half stacked. But
I mean, we don't really deal with pallets per se.
Okay, but when you receive things from a truck,
that's another end of the building.
Okay, so when they come in on the truck, you give a pallet, and it has boxes of whatever it is you guys would put on the shelf.
We'll send off pallets. That's why I said 8 feet.
Yeah, 8 feet is what you would put into a truck or pull out of a truck.
Right.
But our stacking requirements are lower. We're supposed to stack lower. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why that is. Probably the nature of the weight of most things that we ship.
Okay.
We can't stack them that high without destroying what's in the stack.
Bottom.
Yeah. So we get 15 pallets this week, and apparently 15 pallets last week of branded merchandise from one of our clients, and it's toys.
Peewee Herman toys.
No. The Peewee Herman thing was because of how you said things that are stupid with Cory. Yay! When someone says a secret word,
so
what do?
So
Scream real loud.
So we moved on from Peewee Herman.
Yes,
then.
we're past Peewee Herman.
Oh, okay, all right. So you got
this
toys.
This is more of corporate disgust. So we see these pallets. We're walking through the warehouse, and these pallets are kind of just strewn about, and they've been opened up so they could see what was in it.
Right.
And there's toys in there, with like Lego sets, 150, 400 piece Lego sets. And if anybody's into Legos or they have kids that are into Legos, that shit ain't fucking cheap.
Why did these come to you?
Good question. Apparently it happens regularly, and we send it to another one of our facilities.
You get it sent to you?
No. It comes to us on purpose.
Okay.
Because it's promotional, or it's whatever the reason is that the company that we're talking about has this merchandise, and it's, some of it's their brand. Like, it's their stuff that's made by somebody else.
Like a client of said company will send them
It'll
free
be like
stuff, like freebies?
It's branded stuff. So let's say, hypothetically, it's, Coors Light. Okay, Coors Light's the client. And they have, Coors Light Legos. Lego makes a Coors Light set. Let's just say that that's the case.
Okay.
As silly as that sounds, that's what I could come up with.
Let's say, Cory, that you work for Sequel Productions.
Let's say.
Which you do.
Which I do.
And my client is Coors.
Right.
And they have a Lego Coors set.
Right.
All right.
So, Coors, even though Coors they don't sell Legos, they sell beer.
Right.
They have some sort of deal with Coors that, hey, we're going to get this many pallets of the Coors Lego sets, and we're going to use them as promotional, we're going to give them away, we're going to fucking have coupons, I don't know. Right. Whatever the reason is that they have.
So they're going to give them to me as Sequel Productions.
Yeah, so Sequel Productions now gets this stuff in because we have a deal, and that you have these Legos. And when your promotion's over with, or your thing is over with, that you're no longer going to use this, you're not a retailer. You're not a vendor.
Right.
You're not a wholesaler, so you're not going to sell them to somebody.
You got garbage sitting on your floor.
So basically you have something you can't do anything with because you're not that kind of company.
On my floor. My Sequel Production
Your Sequel Production floor. So you're cleaning house. You go, we're not doing anything with these Legos. That shit's over with. It's out of date. We're done with it. Mm-hmm. So let's pack it up and send it to our Disposition Company. Well, our agreement, Sequel Productions agreement with
Coors?
Now we're past Coors now. Now we have all this merchandise that we're not going to do anything with. Mm-hmm. We can't make money with it. We are not going to give it away.
So
the thing's over.
Sequel Productions' policy.
Now the productions company's policy is, and our agreement with the Disposition Company is that we're going to send you stuff, and no matter what it is, I mean, it could be a pallet of Xbox Ones, mm-hmm. brand fucking new ones in the box. It could be a pallet of games. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. Whatever we send you is garbage. We send it to you, you recycle it. That's it.
Right.
That's what you do. And it's disgusting to me. Because it's wasteful. It's absolutely wasteful. If you look at what could be done, quite easily could be done if you were to take the merchandise. Absolutely. You could, as easily as they spent the time to pack that shit up and send it, they could have sent it to a company that does wholesale liquidation. They could have sold it.
They could have given it away.
They could have sold it per pallet, sight unseen. You don't know what's in it. All you know is that it's coming from this X company. and it probably has this in it. Or you know that the majority of it is this. And people, resellers, people that do Amazon, eBay, stuff like that, or even people that have stores, will buy this stuff. They'll buy a whole pallet of who knows what and mark it up and put it on their shelf because they can buy it at a reduced cost.
Like Ross with brand names.
Absolutely. Ross, Savers does it, Goodwill does it.
Well, I think
the new stuff that you see in their stores, that's how they get it.
Right.
They get dollar stores. You know, there's some MSRP rules and stuff with reselling and wholesaling and stuff like that. But regardless of that fact, so let's say you sell it to X company that does wholesale liquidation. That's one way to make it not wasteful.
Well, nobody wants anybody to give anything away or take care of anything because there's taxing involved.
And it's not profitable. They would rather...
not profitable. If I gave them $1 for it, that's more money than they're spending to send to a disposition company. They can give it to me. They don't need to pay me to take it off their hands.
But
I'll pay them.
Now, you've given them money, but you're going to make money on their loss, and they don't like that.
Right, and that's the thing with eBay, too. When I started getting into selling things on eBay, I was like, am I going to have to pay taxes on the money they make off of this? Or that I make off of selling my stuff?
Only after a certain amount.
Only if you make more money than you spent on it.
Okay.
So, like, if I bought this hat for $20 and I sell it for $30, that's where the taxes come in.
So I have a friend that does what you're talking about for a living, and basically she's self-employed, and they don't start asking questions until you get to about the $30,000 mark.
In a year.
In 1 year.
Right.
So if you do $30,000 in eBay and Amazon sales, the government's going to go, hey, you owe us income tax, but they're not actually going to ask you for it. They're just going to expect it, and if you don't pay it, then they'll crawl up your ass.
Right. I mean, like, I would sell a couple old Hero clicks that I didn't want anymore.
Sure. And
like
for
five
small...
in like a week, and then I don't sell anything anymore.
Yeah. And for guys that do piecemeal stuff like that, where you're not doing it full-time, you're not doing a lot of it, you're not going to have any issues with that. Right. It's not a thing. My other...
I know, I moved past
my other solution to this problem is, I don't know, there's plenty of kids that could use this kind of shit. Kids that really don't have anything. Kids. We're not talking about, Joey and Sandy that live next door, they don't have much. We're talking about the children's cabinet. We're talking about Toys for Tots. Things where there are programs in place to take toys and give them to children who are less fortunate. The children's hospitals. There's a million religious and non-religious, whatever side of the bread you want to butter. Doesn't matter.
There are people in need.
There are people in need that, nobody needs toys.
Right.
But we live in a first world country, and that's one of the things that we do for people who are needy.
Right. I mean, like, people that need food, people that need shelter, people that need clothes. Like, kids are going to want toys, too.
Absolutely. And there are kids that maybe they have the basic functions, but their life would be improved. Their enjoyment of life would be improved with that
smile
nicety,
on their face.
A small nicety. And that's why there are places that do shit like that. And that's something that doesn't cross a fucking corporate board's mind. Let's not throw it away. Let's, and it just really burns my ass.
Corporate greed.
Absolutely. It's a complete fucking waste. It makes me absolutely sick. And if you can fucking hear me, fuck you.
Yeah, no, I wish I could get into it about my disgruntledness towards my shit, but I'm not going to go into that here.
Yeah.
I've said where I work and some
obvious.
stuff, and I don't think it's ever going to come back to bite me on the ass.
Yeah.
But
if you go too far, it might.
Honestly, I don't think I can say anything on here, and they'll hear, but just in case.
It's always smart to be smart. And when I worked at Home Depot, because I no longer work there and I don't intend to now, the amount of shit that they throw away for no reason.
Right.
When something's been sitting on the shelf for too long, and corporate makes a decision that, like one thing I can remember very specifically with these Glade candles. Okay, this smelly, they were lavender. And I looked at them and they were on clearance, and I was like, hey, the clearance isn't that good.
Right.
It's not 50%.
Right.
Like if it's 50%, I'm like, man, I have a hard time
It's
not
more like
buying
50
that.
cents off.
Yeah, it's more like it was 50 cents or $1 off of a $6 candle. I'm not going to pay $6 for a fucking candle.
Price, yeah.
So I'm like, if it was like $2 or $3, yeah, I'd buy them.
Right.
So the policy is they go on clearance, and then there's a timer. And the timer's controlled by a computer and some kind of bullshit algorithm. Who knows who's in charge of all that.
And then you got to go and you clear it out to bring in new merch.
Yeah, but it goes through a process of marking down. So, this case of Glade candles will be on clearance for 2 weeks at this price. And the third week, it'll go to the new price, which is X amount lower. And it'll go to a certain point that the algorithm will let it reach the minimum price that they'll allow it to be. Once it reaches that minimum price, the next time someone goes through to mark it down, it's on their list, it'll get marked down to a penny.
Mm-hmm. Once it hits a penny, it's liquidated.
And once it hits 1 penny, it's no longer for sale. And we've seen things on the shelf, and it actually happened with the candles. They went down to a penny, and I saw that, and I was like 30 minutes from being off work, and I was going to fucking snatch all of them. For a penny, you could throw them away, and it wouldn't hurt your feelings.
Right.
That's what Home Depot does. They take and they mark it down, and then once it gets to their threshold, then they automatically mark it down to 1 penny.
Well, someone's got to put that sticker on there, right?
They put it on the thing, but when it gets marked down to a penny, the person doing it is supposed to know that it comes off the shelf at that point. It doesn't stay on the shelf for a penny.
Right.
But it was a fuck up where that happened that day, where it got left on the shelf and marked down to a penny. And I was going to snatch them all when I got off of work. Didn't happen. Somebody caught it. They got taken off the shelf. But when they get marked down to a penny, then they go into a bin and they get written off in the system as it's a write-off. It's shrink or whatever you want to call it. That becomes garbage. And then it goes literally into a fucking trash compactor. Brand new. Absolutely nothing wrong with them. They're not damaged. They're not melted. They didn't sell, so we're going to throw them in the garbage. What about wholesaling them off to a discount company like Habitat for Humanity? The amount of stuff that gets thrown away that could be salvaged, the stuff that I look at.
You can set up, you can take a thing and you can set up a bunch of homeless people and they can have their own little flea market with all this shit and they could
sustain themselves.
Sustain themselves with
something
not
essentially
real garbage opposed to real garbage that they do have.
Absolutely. So the mentality of places like that makes me sick. It really does. And
that's all of them.
It's all of the corporate world, and it's disgusting. Once again, fuck you.
Right. Well, it's money. As soon as we brought money into the equation, rather than bartering.
Yeah, trading goods for goods.
Right.
And I mean, granted, money makes things easier because let's say you need something from me, but I don't need anything from you.
People can have the same thing. Also.
Exactly.
So.
And I get why it works and why money is important and why it is the foundation of,
It's a double-edged sword.
But it is.
There's two sides to every coin.
And it's very disgusting.
So let's move on from the disgusting thing.
I like your new keyboard.
It's newish. It's been here the last few times.
Oh, okay. Is it mechanical?
It's supposed to sound like I was looking for a keyboard that sounded like a typewriter.
Gotcha.
And,
Is it close?
No, because it's plastic.
Right.
I think you need it to be metal.
Right. I have seen those, and they're expensive.
This one was reasonably priced. Let me get rid of this bullshit. Oh, look, there's multiple things up here.
Multiple bullshits. Whole herd of bullshit.
It's close.
It is quite close.
But, I mean, beyond the first time I used it, I guess I've kind of become inured to the sound.
Sure. It's still fun, though, which was basically the purpose of getting it.
Right. To sound like I'm typing on a typewriter.
It makes everyone feel better.
Does it sound like or does it just sound like a keyboard?
It sounds like a mechanical keyboard to me, but that's probably what it is. Because it has mechanical springs in it. I don't know, maybe one of our more technical friends could explain the difference of a mechanical and non-mechanical keyboard.
It's got keyboard rounded buttons.
Yeah. I think it's neat. If
It's
nothing
cool.
else, it looks neat.
Well, it lights up.
That's cool too.
I think most keyboards nowadays are probably like that.
Yeah.
Most newer ones.
Yeah. I have an old keyboard and it doesn't light up, so I have to have a light in the room. Like if I like the computer in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, it's easier on my eyes.
You can't just do it without a light.
Well, I
Are
can
you a
most of the time.
hunter and pecker?
No, I can.
Did you press
said
one?
pecker. You said pecker. Any key? Where's the any key? No, I can type relatively quickly.
I don't even look at the keyboard.
I don't most of the time, but when I'm not when I'm not typing, like if I'm looking at YouTube or whatever, I'm using buttons that aren't on my list for typing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're supposed to be able to use all the keys within reach, but I don't. I
Within
can use
reach, if, like,
use
your
all the
hands were in
I can
stone,
use the letters,
I suppose.
the numbers, and some of the what do you call
The number
punctuation and stuff like that. I can 10 key. I just like to have the light, okay?
Oh, you're fucking shit up now.
I'm trying to fuck shit up.
So what else? Was there something else we were supposed to talk about? So these Tom Cruise movies you haven't watched, I'm now done.
You're now done.
I'm done watching all the Tom Cruise movies. And you haven't started. And I had thoughts that I've probably long since forgotten what I had.
You should have wrote them down.
I guess I should have, but I didn't.
So
hopefully you'll at least watch one of those within now and the next 10 years. Because I've got a stack of cases over there that are just empty, waiting for you to return them, having watched them, so that I can put them back in the case and put the cases away.
And I will start trickling them back in next week.
Okay.
Promise.
All right.
Promise. Okay.
What else? I started
Uh,
watching Tom Hanks movies.
like all of them,
Yeah.
or just in general.
Not all of them. Like Tom Cruise was easy to fill in gaps and to pick up the rest of his movies, because he doesn't have he's got a decent sized body of work,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a decent amount of them already in my possession.
Right.
Tom Hanks is a close second. I mean, they're like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm probably only missing one or two. But Tom Hanks, I'm probably only missing maybe a dozen or less,
That's pretty impressive.
because I've got almost all of his newer stuff from like mid-90s on,
Right.
because he made some good movies.
Sure. I love Tom Hanks.
So I've been watching some of his. Not all of them, but all the ones I have,
Mm-hmm.
and all the ones I felt like I wanted.
Right.
And I'm watching those in order, like I did Tom Cruise.
Where you at right now? Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams is not a Tom Hanks movie.
Oh, that's right. That's
I think A League of Their Own. That's Kevin Costner.
yeah, that's Costner.
But I mean, Tom Hanks did A League of Their Own, which is a baseball movie.
That was maybe what I was thinking about.
So I'm not quite there yet, but I'm close. I'm maybe 3 movies away from that. I'm on Dragnet. I'm in the late 80s.
Oh, okay. Still the early stuff.
Mid-early stuff.
Yeah.
So
He's been at it for a while.
just as long as Tom Cruise.
Which is funny because you don't look at them and say, yeah, those guys are similarly aged in the
Well, like,
in the field.
having started with Tom Hanks' first movie and watched all of his first few movies without any gaps, he didn't do any like high school movies. Like Tom Cruise's first few movies, he's playing a
In
high
high
schooler.
school, yeah.
I mean, not. I think he's like 20. and
Yeah,
maybe
but he's
13.
playing a high school
But
student.
he is playing a high school student, and his story is about him being like a senior in high school or whatever in like his first few.
Right.
Tom Hanks' first movie is he's an adult.
Right.
So like they both started in the early 80s. I think Tom Hanks might be a little bit older than
I
Tom
think he
Cruise
probably
is.
is.
So that's why it's probably hard to kind of put those two together as being like, oh, they came up together.
Right.
I mean, they haven't even done any movies together. I should know because I watched Tom Cruise's fucking movies.
And there was no Tom Hanks in Tom Cruise's movies.
No.
No Tom and Tom.
Probably because the paycheck for both those two would suck up the entire budget of a movie.
Yeah, probably.
So you couldn't put those two guys together in the same movie. Otherwise, you'd have no money for the movie.
At least not back in the 80s.
No, in the 80s, you probably could have done it.
No, yeah.
Today, you can't.
Oh, I don't know. They got a lot of guys together for the Expendables. I don't think they did
None
that for
of those
charity.
guys were pulling any fucking, like, heavy paychecks.
You don't think so?
Not at all.
What do you mean not at all?
Not at all.
They had everybody.
They had everybody, but not everybody that's worth... They're like, that's not a $1
Who
million guy.
didn't they have?
They didn't have Tom Cruise or Tom Hanks.
That is one interesting thing, because I would consider Tom Cruise as an action hero.
But he's also... He's not...
He's more of a spy action
But he's
hero.
not going to play second banana to anybody. He's not playing second banana to fucking Stallone.
No.
So... I don't know.
And I guess most of the guys that were in that movie, with I think the exception of Jason Statham, were, and the new guys for the all the younger crew,
Kevin Hart?
the wrestling guys, and
Kevin Hart's not in those movies.
you know what I'm talking about.
The MMA guy.
All the MMA guys.
What's that guy's
and,
name? Randy
Randy
Couture?
Couture. And I can't
Like, he's not
remember.
an actor, so they're not like, oh, he's not getting a big paycheck.
But
We'll pay him
with
a
the
regular
exception of
amount.
them, all the other guys that were in those movies,
No
were
one
the
knows who
old
Dolph
times.
Lundgren is. He's not worth the money. Stallone is the only one that's worth the money in those movies.
What about Arnold?
Arnold has a cameo. He probably didn't even get paid.
You don't think they pay him for cameos?
I think that certain actors...
He was like hard in the second and third one, though.
Third one, yeah. No, I don't know.
He had a pretty good showing in the second and third one.
I think there are certain actors, either they get the biggest paycheck on the movie, or they do it for free.
Okay. I don't
And
know how
I think because there are certain rules to it.
like budget rules.
No, like SAG rules,
Okay.
Screen Actors Guild rules, as well as contractually obligated rules.
Gotcha.
So it's like, I'm a star. This this agency represents me, and through them, I am guaranteed $1 million paycheck. And if like we can't afford it, and the actor's like, oh well,
I still want to do the film.
yeah, I like your script. I respect the filmmaker and what's going on here in the project. So
they just do it like pro bono, or
yeah,
wow. See, I wouldn't have thought that. I wouldn't have thought that it worked that way. Because I know there's budget rules. They're like how much money you have to spend on the film for it to be considered one thing or the other, and then based on that budgetary constraint, you have to pay your actors a minimum of the X amount per diem, blah blah blah.
right. Well, like look, like if
I mean,
you
it's union rules, so
all kinds of different unions.
Yeah.
So Screen Actors, production,
Film Actors Guild.
all the people, the crew guys, all the grips, grip union.
But they all fall into those same kinds of
Right.
rules.
There's all different kinds of rules, and then there's also like, oh, Cory, I'm gonna come to you in your house, or your effects house. You have $50,000 to give me these effects.
Right.
So then you've got a team. So you got to take your $50,000 and put
And I
it
gotta-
towards materials as well as to pay your crew.
Right.
So suddenly it's not like, oh, I'm Cory, I made $50,000 for this movie, but really you made
We got paid $50,000 to do this movie.
to divvy up the money into what? And by the end, after you bought all the materials, suddenly no one's getting paid for this movie.
I had a friend that it wasn't an effects house, but it was like a prop house almost. It was here in town, and he was an artist, if you want to call him that. Nice kid, pretty bright, good artist, I think. I mean, he was very
Artsy
talented.
fartsy.
It was artsy fartsy. Yeah, I mean, he had the like a mind for it, and he had the patience to sit there and try to figure something out. So he gets a job with this guy, and when I say job, I say that loosely. He would go to work, and what they would do is they were doing reproductions of screen props or masks or costumes or busts and things like that and they would reproduce them to screen spec for sale. Most of it was like collectible kind of shit, but it was like small run, one-off, contract work, stuff like that. And he worked there for, had to have been 3 or 4 months and never got paid.
Right.
I mean, he made some really cool shit. They did a repro of the Predator mask.
They gave him all the materials to make it, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And he was working in their workshop with their tools and their materials and everything else.
But he didn't get paid for his time.
He didn't get paid to do it.
His time and his...
It was like volunteer work. It was kind of strange.
Right, and see, that's where you gotta be careful. You know, I was talking about this the other day, so, like, my favorite podcast, not this one.
Tell him Steve Dave.
One guy did some really good animation to a couple of their segments. And he had told them, like, oh, that minute-long sequence that I did for you guys was like a $10,000 situation. Like, you know, something like that costs $10,000. But really what it is that person probably gets paid a certain amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if he's hired out by some house to do animation for them, it's like, oh, he gets paid $500 an hour to animate. So It's not like he went out and spent $10,000 of things to make his animation. He just, that's the amount of hours he put into that.
Right.
If someone were to have paid him also for that same amount of work.
Right.
You know, it's like saying, like, oh, we made Godsalt and that was like $1 million fucking movie.
Yeah.
If we would have gotten paid by somebody to do it,
yeah,
that's what we would have charged them. But we did it for fun, so
it was free.
Right. It's like all these scripts that I'm writing for free for myself.
Yeah, I mean, those could be $1
Those
million
are $1 million
a piece.
scripts, so.
Yeah, it's $1 million a piece. Step right up. Get them while they're hot.
So we don't live in that world where.
Well, and it's most things are like that, especially when you start talking about passions and creativity and hobbies and things like that. You know, like, you know, one of our hobbies is making movies, or your hobby's writing the scripts, and you get a certain level of joy out of just doing that. Now, would you like to make every movie you've ever written? Fuck yeah, that would be awesome. If somebody would get their money out and you didn't have to go to work every day, and you could just make everything you've ever written, or write something and make it,
right.
That would be the ultimate reward. You wouldn't have to fucking make any money. That would just be great.
Absolutely.
That would be super duper fun. You know, and the same for me. I was in a band for several years, and it cost me money to do that. You know, we would go and practice 5 or 6 or 7 days a week. We would gig on the weekends, play Friday and Saturday night. You know, we had equipment to upkeep. We had to buy equipment. We usually had our own PA. You know, that shit's not cheap. You know, from buying camera equipment and lighting and stuff like that, shit ain't free.
Props, costumes, effects.
Everything that goes into your hobby costs
Gas,
money. So, yeah, and getting there,
locations,
time, everything.
Time off from work when I'm not making money because I'm making a movie.
Exactly. You know, so playing in the band, that was a hobby that cost me money to entertain other people, which we, you know, quote unquote, made money doing it. You know, that we were paid by some venues to play, you know, and
money came from somewhere, but it didn't fill in the hole that already been created.
Exactly. Nothing ever fills the hole, you know, unless you're making money as a musician, real money, like you're getting paid to be a musician, or you're selling records, or you're performing for large venues.
But see, we don't live in a world where people don't know what this stuff is. You know, Beatles, Rolling Stones, Elvis. Like, these people came into a world where there was space for them.
Absolutely.
We're coming into a world where there is no space for us.
Yeah, no, there's not. And our market exists in the free world.
Like, if somebody blew up the Academy Awards, there'd be space for us then.
Don't try that at home.
So, you know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. And it's because the market is saturated with so much money and so much entertainment from different places, but it's also been, you know, consolidated into a very specific group. There's a small elite group in
and
Hollywood.
they've set up a system.
It's a system
Just like this corporate system where they get rid of shit.
Created by them for them.
Right.
So that they can make the money, have the fun, and do everything they want to do without recourse or without having to lose it to someone else.
Right.
Because guys like us...
No one has the keys to the kingdom.
Oh,
they've
have
locked the gate.
Yeah, they've locked the gate and
keys
they're
are
all
on the inside.
And the keys are on the inside, exactly.
Like Rico.
The keys are in the house. And the lockpicks are in the house. So. So there's no way to get in regardless of how bad you want in. And that's not entirely true. There are ways to get in, but it's more luck, I think, than effort.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I was thinking about this. So, because Peter Dinklage, who is the little guy.
Peter Dinklage.
You know who that is?
Yes, I know who Peter Dinklage is. He did the Dorito commercial for the Super Bowl.
I mean, he's also...
I know he's the midget from...
Oh my god, people don't say midget anymore.
Excuse me, he's a little person.
I mean, if you want, you can say
Game of
dwarf
Thrones.
because they call him dwarf and he's the dwarf in Game of Thrones.
Every dwarf is a bastard in the eyes of his father.
You know, he's got this quote of saying, like, it's not about luck. You know, I put in my time, blah, 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 blah.
I've seen that speech.
But it is about luck. Like, sure, you need the talent and you need to work at it. And then...
That's the work part.
When you and luck cross paths, if you have talent and the effort, the luck will pick you up and take you with it. But when luck does cross your path, if you don't have the talent or you don't have the effort, luck will keep on going until it finds someone with it.
Exactly.
So,
and that doesn't mean you can't ever get it.
Right.
You can work your way back to it and get it again. But...
Like, if I go and apply for a job at McDonald's and I get it, that's not luck.
No.
They have a now hiring sign. They have help wanted. Like, there are a million places like that.
Sure.
All over the world. They don't have help wanted on movies. I do.
Right, we have a help wanted sign.
Now hiring
wanted actors, crew.
So, I mean, it is all about luck. It's all about luck.
And okay, so in our circumstance where we do this for fun, we make things for our own entertainment as well as hopefully someone else's entertainment. Because really that's the purpose of creating art, is not only for your entertainment in creating it, but hopefully for the entertainment of those who would view it.
Right.
Or experience it. But there are people of our generation, or whatever you want to call what we're living in, that have created their own space and created their own luck by putting in an extra level of work. And
they've more likely stacked the deck in their favor in a certain direction one way or the other. But creating your own luck, I don't believe, is something you can do.
I think that if you create value, it's as good as making your own luck. Because you have to create value and build an audience, and luck will find you.
Hopefully.
But it's more than hope.
Look, I've put my movies out there to be watched and looked at.
And I'm not saying you haven't. And I'm not saying you've done a shitty or a good job of doing that. But what I'm saying is there are things that I have seen other makers and filmmakers do that
it's also all about who you know as well.
That helps. But I have seen them do, and I don't know what's on the other side of that coin. I don't know what the behind the scenes looks like. Never seen that episode.
Right.
Of certain shows. But what I'm getting at is there are people who literally started making shit from nothing, and they put effort and work into it, and it blew up, and the more it blows up, the more ability you have to create better things. You know, take a movie that you've made with what you did have, what you could afford out of your own pocket. Now let's say that becomes, you know, a 1 million view series. Or a 1 million subscriber series, or whatever you want to call it. That movie gets your channel 1 million subs. Just for sake of argument, okay? Now that has created a marketable value for your company.
Right.
For your production
company. They come to you at that point. I know that.
Right. But it doesn't have to be 1 million. It has to be a big enough number.
Right. It has to click somewhere.
So that somebody says, you know what? I think it's worth our time to put an effort into this guy's direction and have him promo our shit. Because that's how YouTubers make money. Let's get real. They don't make money off of views. That's not what it's about anymore. That's the old way. When Google used to pay you because of your metrics and your bullshit that they figured out based on how much of your video somebody watched and how long they watched it and how many people watched it and how many times it was shared and how many times it was liked and blah, 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 blah. That shit helps with your rating now as far as where you're found in searches and how your videos come up organically in people's feeds. That's what that matters for.
Yeah, but now you can pay now you can pay YouTube or you can pay Facebook to.
You can pay per click. You can get you can force yourself to the forefront, but that costs money.
Yeah.
But you can do it organically, or you can pay small amounts of money in order to feed the organic growth. If you get what I'm saying. So
I don't feel the
marketing and advertising. Marketing and advertising is the only way anything will ever be seen in mass.
Right, but it has to be.
It has to be worth seeing. It has to create value for the viewer.
Yeah, but nobody knows anymore. No one's got any kind of fucking attention span.
It doesn't matter. If somebody sees something they like, they will watch it. I have watched. I wish there were a tool in YouTube to go and see. I'm serious, and go and look at genres of videos you have watched and break them down the way you can look at your own views that you get when people watch your videos. There are tools to look at how much of a video somebody watched, and YouTube and Google use this metric to figure out where to place you in the rankings. But they figure on how much of a video somebody watches, whether they watch the entire thing or they fast forward through it. They watch all of that stuff. What I'm getting at is if you create value for a viewer, where the viewer says, my time is worth your product.
That, of course.
Yeah, but what you're missing is that you are stuck on, if I write a good book, people will read it. It's just not true. It's absolutely not true.
I don't know.
No, it's not. It's not true.
It's gotta be true.
No, it's not true.
It's gotta be true.
It's not true.
It's gotta be.
You know why it's not true? Because if you write the best book on the planet, but no publishing house picks it up, no one will read it.
Right.
Marketing is everything. Marketing means everything for...
But it could still also happen the other way, too.
It could if pigs flew out of your ass.
No, there are people who fucking...
Which people?
I don't know, because I didn't know we were getting this conversation.
Neither
I didn't
did
know
I.
that I needed fucking... to cite my fucking...
Cite your sources?
My references.
I'm just fucking with you, but generally, yes, you are right. It can happen organically and 100% natural. Viral videos are a perfect example of what you're talking about, where I make a funny cat video, and overnight it has 1 million fucking views because I shared it on Facebook, and my girlfriend shared it with her friends, and her friends shared it with their friends. Everybody just thought it was so fucking funny, and they all gave it a thumbs up, and they all shared it with their friends. How many videos have you shared this week? Do you do that? Do you share videos or memes or posts or...
Probably.
You've done it though, right?
Probably. But now it's second nature now.
Exactly. But that's the only ability of your artwork to be seen through natural growth is if someone accidentally sees it and likes it, and everyone they show it to sees it and likes it too. That's like spitting in the ocean and hoping that you can spit on a fish. It can happen, but it's not likely.
Well, what is your fucking solution?
I'm telling you, the more likely.
Are you promoting my movie, Cory?
I promote your posts every time you post them.
Do you?
I do. Unless it's a podcast that doesn't have me in it. I'm kidding.
I don't think you shared the last one.
I may not have. Who was on it?
You.
I did too.
Are you sure?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I didn't see it.
Because I remember the title was funny.
It was the I Hate Flying one.
I Hate Flying, yeah. So what I'm getting at is if you want people to see your movie, first of all, it has to be good enough to be seen. If you think it's good enough to be seen, then you need to push your own movie.
How do I do that?
You need to have a better YouTube channel.
And how do I do that?
We need to create better content. And we need to create more regular content. A movie a year is not content. You have to be in people's face. I'll give you an example of a channel that I follow that is silly.
Look, the podcast that I listen to is no different than you and me sitting here talking.
I'm not saying it isn't. But what does that podcast have going for it that we don't?
Kevin Smith.
Yes. And what has he done? Written and starred in lots of movies.
A lot of stuff.
Right? Directed, written, produced, you name it. He has a name behind who he is and what his podcast is. They could talk about dog shit all day, and people would listen and think it was funny. And I'm not saying we're doing the wrong thing.
Well, he got lucky.
Yes. Early on.
He got lucky at a time when someone could get lucky.
You're such a negative Nancy.
No, you're asking me to do something that I'm not interested in doing.
Then I can't help you.
I don't have the time or
No.
the patience or the money.
Yes.
Like, if I was a single guy and I had a job where I just throw away my shitty things, I don't see you doing anything. I don't see you doing anything, Cory.
I don't want to have a production company. You do.
Well, what do you want to do? Are you doing something towards what you want to do?
Yes, I am.
What are you doing?
I'm building shit at my house. That's what I like doing.
Okay.
I like making things
Okay.
out of metal or wood or dirt.
Are you promoting
cars.
yourself?
I don't need to.
Okay.
Because my enjoyment at this point has been to do what I like to do.
All right. And I sit here and I write.
And if that's good enough, then that's good enough. I'm not trying to make you do something you don't want to do. We're just trying to have a conversation about...
Let's move on past it. I'm getting upset.
Okay.
Because there's no answer to this.
There is an
There is
answer.
no
The
answer.
answer is what you're not interested in doing.
No, the answer is we live in a world where you have to pay somebody else to do something for you, and you got to hope that it comes back to you.
Part of that is true.
And that's all it is. The whole thing is true. I mean, you need the talent behind that.
With regards to...
Like, I can go and I can pay somebody and say, like, hey, here, promote me. And they'll gladly take your money, whether you're dog shit or you're gold.
You could promote yourself.
How?
Yes, it
To
costs
who?
money to everyone.
I don't have, like, money to promote myself. How much money are we talking about? I
It's
only
not-
make
it's-
fucking $18 an hour,
I only make $16 an hour.
and the government takes their chunk.
Yes,
and
they do.
Housing is not cheap, and food is not cheap.
I'm not saying that there's
And
a
at the
perfect
end of the
answer.
day, if I don't, like, enjoy myself with what few shekels I have left,
then there's no point.
like, I mean, I've got to live my life, too.
I agree. I absolutely agree with what you're saying, and I'm not telling you you're doing the wrong thing.
No, you kind of are.
No, I'm not.
You kind of are.
I'm not. If you want a certain kind of thing, you have to do things a certain kind of way.
Well, no shit, Sherlock.
And just being lucky isn't good enough anymore, and you know that.
I don't know.
I know that. I can't get lucky enough to get a regular fucking job. I have a fucking job that anybody can have.
Right.
I can take an 18-year-old kid out of high school that has no fucking degree, no experience, put him in my spot, give him my fucking job, and in 30 days he will be able to do it as well as or better than I can. That's not luck. I have a fucking mundane retard job. Does that make you feel better?
No, I've got the same one.
Exactly. There's no luck involved in what we're currently doing.
No, there isn't.
Absolutely not. And there's an extreme amount of luck involved in what we would like to do,
Right.
which is make movies and have
But,
people watch them and get
there
paid
could be
for
some
it.
kid out there that wants just what you have.
There could be. There's people that want to go to prison, too.
Think about how lucky they would feel if you gave them that job.
I'm telling you. I talked to somebody the other day that was happy and excited.
To go to jail?
No. I didn't know somebody that was proud of their decision to just go to jail. But that's another story. And it's dumb.
Okay.
Because the actions leading up to it were completely fucking ridiculous. So anyway. But what I'm getting at is, we both know that luck's not good enough. You have to cheat, lie, and steal your way into what you want.
Yeah, but they don't tell you how to do that.
Nobody does. And if somebody had to tell you how to do it, it wouldn't be worth doing.
And you're trying to tell me how I'm supposed to do something.
I'm telling you what I've seen work.
Yeah, okay.
Nobody's told me how to do it.
It also doesn't work, too.
Yeah, absolutely. It can work and it cannot work.
So you don't know which fucking risks to take.
No, but if you don't take any risks, you'll never get any reward. Is that wrong?
I don't know.
I mean, the concept of it is wrong.
Well, no. What I'm saying is you don't know which risks to take. I've taken risks before.
Absolutely. So have I.
I'll probably take more risks until I'm dead.
We all do. You take a risk every day getting out of bed and leaving the house.
Some days I feel like I'd be better off if I just stayed in bed.
I feel like that almost every day.
And never woke up again.
Well, I don't know about that.
Eh.
The world wouldn't be
I wouldn't have to
be.
be trying to make movies anymore, that's for sure.
But if you like making movies, then you don't have to do it. You like doing it.
Well, I'm not doing it, though.
You like writing, though.
Yeah, but then it's like, oh, well, I'm never going to get to make this, so who cares? You don't even read my scripts anymore.
I read them when you give me paper ones.
Did you read All Good Things? No.
Did you give me a paper one?
No.
I told you I read them when you give me paper ones. I told you that.
Did you read that last fucking animated one that I wrote?
Did you give me a paper one?
No. But you read the one before that when it wasn't paper. I'm pretty sure you read
That's
my
when we were
going to
be involved. And then your guy got pissed off at us for no reason.
You read that before I was going to be involved.
I don't remember.
I do.
Well, you must remember everything.
I try my best.
Must be nice. Are you putting a pin on your spit guard?
Yeah.
Is it a good one?
It's Sherlock Gnomes. Or whatever it is.
Now it'll have to stay there by the grace of God.
No. No, because it's got a nice, tight...
That's what she said.
Why would she say that about your butthole?
Ooh, what does
this
it have
is
to
a
do with my
depressing
butthole?
Conversation. I don't know. Was she talking about your pee hole then, I guess? A nice tight pee hole?
She could have been talking about her own vagina.
It don't leak. Nah. She doesn't talk like that. Whoever she is.
You don't know her that well. You've never been in that room with her.
Is the dog underneath me or just away?
I don't know what happened to the dog. The dog has left the building.
The cat?
The cat could give a fuck less about us.
No.
I take that back.
My cat's very needy.
I have 2 needy cats and the rest of them are assholes.
Is your one cat still alive?
Which one?
The one that was blind and deaf?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a he or a she?
It's a she.
So she's still alive and kicking?
She's alive and kicking.
She's got it made.
Oh, fuck yeah. Can you imagine?
Even being blind and deaf, she's got it made.
Yeah. No, she just wanders
shits
around.
Wherever she wants.
Pretty much. If she gets scared, she just pees. You know?
And you take care of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not mean to her about it. That's why I adopted her, because I was afraid somebody would be mean to her
If there was
just
a
for being blind
and deaf person, and they just shit wherever they wanted,
I would probably surrender that person.
Like, they will try and do something about it. Then there's not everyone's gonna just take care of.
It's true. It's quite true.
I don't know. I'm depressed lately.
I made you all grumpy.
No, well, because
it's
it's par for the course, dude. Work is getting harder and more ridiculous. And just, I don't think we're ever going to make a movie again. I can sit here and I can write movies until the cows come home.
Yeah.
But we don't have anybody to make them with. Nobody wants to make movies anymore.
I know. It's a hard place
Dakota's
to be
got
in.
a second kid on the way.
Yeah,
Did I tell you that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Nicole's pregnant.
Spoiler.
I didn't say it last time?
I don't think so.
Did I know last time?
Maybe not.
Yeah.
I just think possibility.
Nicole's pregnant. Again. They just had a kid. But, you know...
It's easier to stack them up, though.
But him and his brother are, like, I think less than a year apart.
Yeah.
Because I think his parents were like, well, we better give him...
Somebody to play with.
Yeah. Unlike you, taking a slow burn approach to having a second child.
Yeah, well, you know, you can't rush into these things.
Your son's going to be, like, off to college when you have the next kid.
It could happen.
So... Yeah, nobody wants to make movies. I don't think we have any chicks to be in the movies anymore.
And maybe we should quit making movies then, and start making candles or
Yankee Candles?
T-shirts.
You could probably go get a job at Yankee Candle.
I don't like candles that much.
Then don't offer that up as a suggestion.
I'm just saying we could make candles. We could.
Yeah, but clearly they're throwing candles away.
That's true.
They're throwing everything away.
We could make T-shirts.
Yeah, it would have cost money to make T-shirts.
It's all about risk. Cost benefit, brother.
I don't have the talent to make a T-shirt.
Doesn't take a lot.
You gotta be good at, like, drawing. I'm not good at drawing. You want to write a script on a T-shirt?
You could do that.
Oh, man, I would never wear that shirt.
Neither would I.
Even though I have a shirt with, like, song lyrics on it. And, like... There are plenty of shirts with, like, quotes and shit.
Could you like inspirational quote T-shirts, or not inspirational quote T-shirts?
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever the opposite of inspirational is.
Garbage.
Garbage
Put
indeed.
down.
Put downs and garbage.
What is the opposite of inspirational? To tear somebody down.
Deprecation. Deprecating.
Depreciate. Depreciate.
Well, that's to devalue.
Devalue. Well, we're getting closer to the word that I'm thinking of, though.
I think deprecation is actually a word.
Yeah, no, but it's not the word I'm thinking of. Like, if you go up to somebody and you fucking, like, you're a piece of shit, fuck you.
Yeah. I can't think of the word
Like, when you do that, when you go up to somebody.
There's a name for the act of
I see quotes for it all the time, like when, you know, it's like, oh, people who put you down are just making themselves feel better and not you.
Which is obvious.
No, how does it go? It's like, I don't know. Worst episode ever.
It happens.
This is your fault.
It is my fault, but I take responsibility.
It's just another letdown in a long line of letdowns, of recent letdowns.
Life is like that.
Like, kids are getting shot up at school. President's white again.
For now.
For now. He'll probably be white next time, too.
It'll probably be the same guy.
Probably be the same guy. Woo! 4 more years.
I'm down.
I'm sure if we sat on here and we talked about, like, the president, I'm sure someone's listening.
Probably.
So, like, we should start out, like, this is the Donald Trump cast. You know what? That's what we should do. We should do the Donald Trump cast.
Okay.
And we'll be like, in this week's episode, we discuss things about Donald Trump. And then we don't.
And at least that way the NSA will hear what we have to say.
Right. And it's like, coming up, Donald Trump. You know, and then we'll talk about some other things.
Talk about everything.
Periodically, we'll chime in with, like, Donald Trump. And then at the end, we'll be like, okay, next week, Donald Trump, right here, same time. And it'll be the Donald Trump cast, and they'll have, like, right? Like, they're listening to us, right? I'm assuming they are.
Somebody is.
Like,
even if it's a computer.
Did you see that movie? Fucking the Oliver Stone movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the one about the dude with the glasses.
The dude with the glasses?
Oh, fuck, what was that movie called? Like, I've totally forgot about it. But it's about the guy that worked for, like, the CIA.
Are we talking about the guy that...
And he had to fucking flee the country.
Yeah. The fuck is his name?
I think that's the name of the movie.
Probably.
It's
That's
his
why we
name.
can't think of his name.
But, like, he's there with the dude, and he's like, oh, here, check this out. And he's like, we can look at any camera that we want to look at, and the light won't come on. And so he's, like, watching somebody through their fucking laptop camera.
Mm.
And so dude starts putting Band-Aids over the laptop camera, his and his girlfriend's laptop camera and shit.
Right.
And then the CIA director or whatever will, like, talk to him and be like, I know what you did, you know, and I know all this stuff about you. And it was freaky. It was a scary movie.
Interesting.
Like, you should watch it. It's scary, like, because it's... And then they bring the real dude on at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
To give, like, a speech, and that's how the movie ends.
Right.
So, like, it's legit.
That's how the world really is.
So, there is potentially someone listening to us. Do you think they can listen to us if we're not broadcasting live?
Your computer's hooked to the internet, dude.
Right.
Anybody can do anything.
Right. I mean, the camera's right there. They could be watching us. Donald Trump, if you're listening.
Donald Trump.
Yes. And, you know, tune in next week, Mr. President. Whatever you like to be called.
Yeah.
I think we'll name this episode Donald Trump.
That'll get some coverage. That will get some coverage.
Next week, Donald Trump at the movies.
Next week, we go to the premiere with Donald Trump.
The Donald Trump cast. Brought to you by Sequel Podcast, Sequel Productions. Next movie will
Hashtag
be
not a porno.
The next movie will be a Donald Trump biography, starring Cory Easley as Donald Trump. 2 hours of Cory taking a dump.
Oh boy.
When his wife chimes in, I don't get it.
I don't get it.
All right.
Degradation?
Yeah, to degrade somebody? But I mean, I don't think that's the word I'm looking for.
Probably not.
I don't know.
Maybe
All right.
next time.
Maybe next time on Donald Trump Cast, we'll figure out what the word is for ripping someone down, tearing them down.
Down trap.
Getting close.
Down trap.
All right. Well,
Down trap.
I'm Matt Bonta.
And I'm Matt Dan.